Hello, I'm Miss Bhuller and I teach at Marjory Kinnon School. Welcome to Lesson 1. Our learning intention is to listen to a story and answer questions. On Google Classroom there is a PowerPoint with the pictures in it for you to work to read alongside if you choose to. Let's make a prediction before we read the story. This is Bob. He's the man on the moon. Where do you think Bob goes every day to work? Have a think. Yes, you're right. He goes to the moon. Well done. Before we read our story, let's look at some star words. Shall we say star words, star words, star words? Our star words for this book are Bob, and he's the astronaut. Moon, people, rocket, launch pad, that's where the rocket takes off. Alien, friend. Bob has lots of friends in the book. Spaceship, this is the flying object that the tourists use. Souvenir. A souvenir is a token or an object that we bring back home with us to remind us of somewhere special that we've been. Somersault. Bob has to do quite a few of those, you'll find out a bit more later. Astronaut. Bob is an astronaut. Don't forget, you can follow the pictures on the PowerPoint in Google Classroom. Are you sitting comfortably? Let's get ready to hear a story. Man on the Moon. Every morning, Bob wakes up at 6 o'clock. He has a cup of tea and 2 eggs for his breakfast before he goes to the launch pad. On his way, he stops by and picks up a newspaper and some chocolate-covered toffees. He's on his way to work, to the moon. By 8 o'clock, he's arrived at the launch pad. He changes into his special man on the moon suit, his moon suit, and he boards his fantastic rocket ship. He has to leave by 9:15 each morning, otherwise he won't make the moon by 9. As he travels in his rocket, he reads the newspaper and does his crossword. When he arrives at the moon, Bob starts work immediately. His job as man of the moon is really important. He has to keep the moon clean and tidy. They say quite often the astronauts leave litter. They drop litter, sweet packets and cans. Some people believe that much of the rubbish has been dropped or that the aliens are responsible. But Bob knows that isn't true because there are no aliens, are there? And by 12:30, it's time to have his lunch. It's time to eat. Bob goes to his rocket ship and fetches his lunchbox. It usually contains 2 sandwiches, either cheese or peanut butter, an apple, and some chocolate-covered nuts. Sometimes he meets his friends for a picnic. His best friends are Billy, the man on Mars, and Sam, man on Saturn. They talk about the stars and they tell jokes to each other. After lunch, the spaceships arrive with the tourists on, zooming in from Earth. Part of his job is to entertain the tourists. So he has to give them things to photograph. So he does somersaults, he does handstands, and even high moon jumps. Wow! Sometimes he performs for over 2 hours and it leaves him quite out of puff. Occasionally, the tourists land from their spaceships onto the moon. When they do, Bob is ready, gives them a guided tour of the moon and a speech. He tells us tourists so many facts about the moon. For example, how many craters the moon has, or how long it would take to walk around it on stilts. Some people even ask Bob about the aliens. But Bob explains calmly that there are no aliens on the moon. Is that true? Afterward, Bob opens his small souvenir shop, which sells postcards, mugs and pencils, and even small plastic moon models. By 4:30, all the visitors have to leave the moon. Bob checks and looks around to check everyone has left. He even looks inside big craters, but there's never anyone there, is there? Can you see who's down in the crater? Could it be aliens? The working day is nearly over. It is time to check everything is in order. And Bob packs away his equipment and the unsold souvenirs back in his rocket ship. He switches on the moon's nightlight before he jets back off to Earth. Bob is very tired, but he still has to keep his wits about him as he has to fly back to Earth in his rocket. As he reaches Earth, it's about 5 o'clock. The rush hour is in full swing. Everyone's leaving work and going home, just like Bob. When he goes home, he's just like anybody else. He takes a long bath. It could be pretty grubby being an astronaut, as you even get dust in his spacesuit. He goes to bed with a mug of cocoa. He sleeps soundly, bathed in moonbeams, very, very happy to be the man on the moon. Aliens, you say? There aren't any aliens. If there were, Bob would know, wouldn't he? I hope you enjoyed the story. Right, I have some questions for you now on the man on the moon. Who are the main characters in the story? I'll give you a few minutes to have a think. Who do you think the main characters are? I think the main character in the story is Bob, the man on the moon. But there are also other characters, the aliens, some of you might have seen in the book. There are tourists, and there are Bob's friends, Billy and Sam. Did you get that? I hope you did. Next question. What does Bob do in the rocket? When he's flying off, going to work on the moon, what's he doing? Have a think. What was Bob doing in the story? Yes, Bob reads the newspaper and he does the crossword on it. Well done. Brilliant. What is Bob's job? Have a little think. Can you remember? Bob is an astronaut. Well done. And his main job is to keep the moon clean and tidy. Well done. Super. I'm really impressed with your memory. Well done. Great understanding of the book. What does Bob do to entertain the tourist? I think back, what does he do? Have a think. Let's have a look. He does somersaults, handstands, and moon jumps. Well done. There is something that Bob hasn't noticed. Do you know what that is? What do you think he hasn't noticed despite going to work every day in the moon? He doesn't know that there are aliens. Well done, brilliant. Super work. Bob likes to relax by having a bath and going to bed with a mug of cocoa. How do you like to relax? Really? Oh, that's good to know. I like to relax by walking my dog and reading a book. Well done. You have worked very hard today. Give yourself a big cheer. Well done.